Hey there, everyone. It's Anthony back with another video here on Single and Placing. Thank you so much for checking out this video. And today we're actually going to be talking a little bit about Alphonse Mucha. This will be my first video for Summer with the Masters, my first of two. And I wanted to do a little bit of a dive into kind of the life and times of Alphonse Mucha. So I hope you enjoy. Alphonse Mucha was born in 1860 and was a Czech artist renowned for his Art Nouveau artistry and beautiful depictions of women, scenery, and Parisian lifestyle of the time. In his late 20s, Alphonse Mucha attempted to gain entry into an art school in Prague, where he was from, but after several rejections, he ultimately decided to move to Paris. This is where his career really flourished and he became the famous artist we know today. The studio he created in Paris and his estate are now managed by his family. At the time in Paris, theater and performance art were incredibly popular. The late 1800s and early 1900s is where Sarah Bernhardt took the stage and created a phenomenon around herself and the theater. She was an incredibly dramatic and expressive performance artist at the time. Sarah was in the midst of launching a performance entitled Gismonda and needed posters made as advertisements for the show. The show premiered around the Christmas holiday, and all of the typical artists who handle these commissions were away. So, Alphonse Mucha was the only artist available and contracted to create a poster for Gismonda. The pressure was on for Mucha, and not only did he deliver, but he revolutionized the advertisement artwork for theater, products, and travel at the time. His unique approach of creating a long, large panel was done by splitting the artwork in half prior to printing, which allowed the prints to fit into the lithographs that were used at the time. Mucha's panels were commonly about 2 meters or 6.5 feet tall, making them nearly lifelike in scale. Often these posters were displayed at eye level, so passers-by would be face to face with a gorgeous and alluring figure or subject. These posters became highly desirable by the public and were often stolen from the streets of Paris at night. Due to the positive reception of the Gismonda poster and Sarah Bernhardt's love of the image, she placed Mucha under contract for 5 years so he could work exclusively on future promotional artwork for her performances. He began working not only on these advertisements, but played a role and had influence over some of her set designs, costumes, and even jewelry that was commissioned for Sarah. These posters were brought to the US as Sarah toured her plays, and this gave rise to Alphonse Mucha's popularity not only in the US, but worldwide. When it comes to Art Nouveau and the stylings commonly associated with the movement, Alphonse Mucha can be pointed to as a guide and major influence. However, he himself often did not like to be associated with a specific artwork style or Art Nouveau, but rather wanted to be known as a dynamic and versatile artist. However, the use of flowing hair, gentle figures, and intricate backgrounds that Mucha often used are a hallmark of Art Nouveau. Mucha spent over 20 years in Paris becoming one of, if not the most popular and well renowned poster graphic artists of the time. However, Mucha had a different side of him that called him back to his familial roots and the current political climate of his home country. When Mucha was 46, he fell in love with an art student named Marie Chitlova, and they married in Czechoslovakia. Visiting home, along with the change of culture in Paris, led to some major shifts for Alphonse Mucha as well. He explored spiritual and social concepts that were popping up at the time, including becoming a Freemason. He often conducted seances as well as experimenting with some other spiritual practices. Technology also worked its way into Mucha's life as he began to incorporate photography and filmography into his artistic practice. Using these films and photos, Mucha was able to begin capturing Slavic people as he often saw them at the time, suppressed and yearning for a better life. These feelings and emotions worked their way into his artwork, starting with his panels. Symbols of flowers, halos around a subject's head, and the vibrant red colors of some of his panels were all evocations of his Slavic background and people. Mucha created a book and reference guide entitled Document Decoratif to present some of his most common design language and stylings so that other artists could replicate and take inspiration not only from him, but the Art Nouveau style as a whole. He believed that beautiful art should be accessible by not only just the wealthy, but by all people. Once again, these sentiments hearken to his familial origin and the feelings he had about the situations and lifestyle the Czech people were living in and around that time. Mucha was at the height of his success when he earnestly began considering relocating to Czechoslovakia. Leaning on the guidance of Sarah Bernhardt, he decided in 1906 to close his Paris studio and travel to the US in order to earn enough money to settle down and return to his home country. However, the success he was expecting and was anticipated did not come to fruition. Alphonse then began meeting with high society Czech immigrants living in New York and eventually secured funding to return to Czechoslovakia with the promise to work on several paintings focusing on the life, struggle, and enduring nature of the Czech people. This began Mucha's work on a multi-piece art project titled the Slav Epic. This monumental artwork comprises of 20 individual paintings that depict Slavic history. These pieces were hidden from the Nazis during the war and rediscovered in the mid-1950s. Hiding these massive canvases was an undertaking and miracle that they survived. In producing the Slav epic, Alphonse Mucha incorporated several unique techniques, including blowing charcoal onto the canvas in intricate and flowing lines to create an outline of certain scenes. And he also relied on live models for several of the scenes, including having nearly an entire small village in time appropriate costume reenact a particular scene. The reception of the Slav epic was mixed. Several bureaucratic leaders found them to be overly nationalistic and that Mucha should have stuck to his posters. Meanwhile, his posters and the Art Nouveau movement by this time were considered overdone and slightly out of style. Mucha passed away in 1939 at 79 years old. While most well known as a decorative artist by many people, his work towards highlighting, recognizing, and honoring his heritage makes him an incredibly complex and interesting artist as a whole. Today, Mucha's work can be seen as prints or wall hangings, pillows and household decorations, and even tattoos. His influence in the Art Nouveau movement carries on to this day. There is so much more to this story, be it his personal story, but the history and meaning behind his artwork that I look forward to researching and sharing with you at some point in the future. This is only the shallowest of dives into Mucha's rich artistry and life. I encourage you to look into it yourself, learn more about the artwork and diamond painting you're working on, and develop a closer connection not only to the artists that make diamond painting so fun, but the craft itself. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you learned a little bit more about Alphonse Mucha. As part of the Summer with the Masters series, we will be doing a giveaway as part of this video, and all you need to do to enter for this giveaway is make sure you've completed the registration form via Google Doc, and that will be linked in the description box below. And I just need you to leave in the comments one thing you learned about Alphonse Mucha. The prizes for this week's giveaway will be listed in the description box below, so you can scroll down and take a look at what's up for the giveaway. And the announcement for the winner or winners of this giveaway will be announced on my next video coming in July. Thanks again so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with friends, family members, and anyone that you think might take some value out of this content. And again, thank you, and I appreciate you participating in this year's Summer with the Masters event. Bye.